Folks, welcome to a very special afternoon episode of the Talking Crit Live. It's not Talking Crit Live, it's Tavern Chat Live. You know what? These early hours, noon,
It could be talking crit. It could be triple D. It could be
the random party,
random party.
it
Who
could be
knows?
anything. It could be anything, damn it.
Just
Uh,
Tankar's Tavern in the daytime or something. I
right.
don't know.
We're trying, we get pretty good response to this. And we want to make sure we get we wanted to make sure we got an episode in before North Texas next week
That's right.
because Glenn and I both arrive at North Texas on Wednesday. So yes, the Wednesday Talking Crit live will
This is
be
the
Wednesday night at the con.
Hello,
Hector
Jim.
and
Go
Chad.
ahead. Um, yeah, and what was I going to say? I forgot. Yeah, this is the fifth Friday, so I don't usually do a show on Friday. So this worked out
Yeah,
with the con. So next week you're going to have to suffer through both of us in the same place. So
yeah, and little reminder for folks tonight. Tonight is a very special Talking Crit Live. We've got Eric and Heidi Garland Gygax. My God, that's a tongue
Gygax
twister.
Garland, good, yeah, yeah.
Gygax Garland Gygax. Gaxland, the Gaxland peoples are going
I
to be
won't
on
see them
tonight.
until next year.
Oh,
Well,
oh, you'll see them at Wizard Con.
I'm assuming they're going to be a wizard. All the people I never get to see are going there because they are all up in the upper part of the
The
nation.
upper part of the nation and the world.
Yeah.
They're
Even the guys
practicing
used to
in
come down to
Canada.
North Texas. Even the guys who used to come to Dallas, I don't see anymore. So they're getting
Uh,
old.
Matt, welcome. So we were like, all right, let's get the afternoon show in. Now, again, I don't think there's going to be an afternoon show next week because the only days can be Monday, Tuesday. We may be, I may be squeezing a lot in before we go to the con,
I'm
and
only
then
I'm o- I'm only doing two more episodes of Radio Grognar, and one's going to be Monday, and one's just for when I get back, so I have something to play. But yeah, next week it's going to be kind of a free for all as far as like people people doing shows or us doing
yeah,
shows or something like
we're
that.
going to be at North Texas. We're going to be busy. That's for sure. But and then the week after North Texas, the following weekend I go to Central New York Con. So I come
He
back on
does,
Monday, head out Friday. Don't expect an afternoon live that week. So it'll probably be
right?
mid June before these return. Just throwing that out.
Well, yeah. And Jason asked me the other day, "Hey, you think I could be on your live stream of the con?" I said, "Just walk by, sure."
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
there you're on. Three
I
seconds.
want the Jackie Gleason hummina hummina
Humana,
hummina
humana,
hummina
humana, humana, humana.
hummina hummina hummina. I don't know what to say. Hummina hummina.
So, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a raspberry lemonade. Um,
Sounds good. I
yeah,
just had
no,
a I just had a weird soda. I mean, weird. I'd never seen it before. It's one of the Sunkist sodas,
okay.
raspberry blood orange.
Ooh, that sounds very red.
Interesting taste.
Okay,
Kind of yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Not bad, not good. It was like right there in the middle. But
Well, I saw it at the supermarket. I guess last week. Last week, in the produce section of all, I
that's
saw
weird.
River Slice soda from back in like the '80s and early '90s. Slice was,
Oh
I
yeah,
think,
that was somebody's 7 Up, somebody's Sprite.
yeah, it was, or their Orange Crush, depending, because it had real fruit juice.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
now the new slice has probiotics, and it was like 350 a can. I was like, yeah, okay,
Whoa, really?
yes. Well, at that rate, I want probiotics in my beer. I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't think like
I don't know. I've been on
beer.
a weird
It's
soda
naturally
kick.
cultured.
Oh, okay. I've been on a weird soda kick. Last week I had Sprite plus tea.
Okay,
I didn't mix it. It came that way.
well, that's interesting.
Yeah, I guess instead of the lemonade, they put Sprite in there. But interesting. You know, like I said, it was all right.
Okay,
Me,
well,
a connoisseur of soft drinks.
my feed on Facebook
Yep.
has been full of advertisements for CBD sodas, and I was
There's
just like,
CBD. I wouldn't doubt, but if there's CBD sodas,
yeah,
wow.
and it's like I was like, how are there this many different brands of CBD soda, and why am I getting this? Not that I'm getting it. I'm not
Why
buying
am I
it.
getting this? Why am I ordering this all of a
Yes.
sudden? Yeah.
So it's like,
Oh man,
oh
man.
yes, indeed.
Anyway,
So Elk, welcome.
there
Glen,
goes my camera again. There goes my camera again.
damn it! Don't pound your table. Damn it!
Uh,
Pound it again. Maybe it
Tui
comes back.
patui. Um,
Top Tui for Tui.
oh crud! I'm having the same problem Tom had the other day. Can you hear me?
All
Uh,
right.
let's see what I can do about this.
Wow.
There I am.
There, like
And
magic.
I didn't even have to reboot, so that's good.
Do they take the arthritis pain away? The CBD sodas? I don't know.
Orange Coke Zero. I've had regular Orange Coke. Not bad.
I don't cherry in my cola. Fine. Orange
I like
is
vanilla in my cola too,
vanilla. I could take cherry vanilla.
or lemon.
I mean, I like the Dr Pepper when they throw in the vanilla. I like. Ooh, that makes it even more special.
I like that newest one they did, blackberry Dr Pepper.
I haven't found that one. Not that I've been
That's
looking, but I haven't
yeah.
found it.
So before I go spouting off, what do we got for what's new in the gaming community and
Well,
stupid kind of stuff?
it's been popping up in my feed. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research on it. But the Diamond Distributors
Oh,
bankruptcy has gotten a little interesting because Diamond the new owners of Diamond are telling everybody, hey, if you have an invoice prior to May 15th, pound sand. No, I mean it's the bankruptcy court. It's not us. We only bought the assets. We didn't buy the liabilities. So if you're owed money from less than 2 weeks ago there's going to be huge issues. And
go pound sand. They're saying basically.
yeah, pretty much it's not our problem. So that again popped up in my feed. I got to read the article. Bleeding Cool apparently has a lot of articles on this whole fiasco. Retro. Coke is crack rock. I can't do soda anymore.
That's too bad.
Personally, I like the Zevia sodas because they are naturally sweetened and naturally colored and flavored. So
Mhm.
you don't have like you get a cola and it's clear. It's not got those funny colors. So
Don't need color to have taste. Crystal Pepsi proved that. I actually liked Crystal Pepsi when it was out.
I remember it. I don't remember if I tried it. Um, Probably because I would have had it nicely if it came in a can, but I always saw it in those big 2 liter bottles because they were pushing it hard.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh, that doesn't look like soda. I'm gonna have that disconnect. I'm gonna think 7 Up or Sprite, and instead I'm gonna
Mhm.
get hit with the cola taste.
Oh
Where
yeah,
with a Zevia, you're getting it in cans, so you're not really looking. You can pretend it's got a dark color.
that's right. That's right. So what you've been doing? Getting ready for the con or
Getting
what?
ready for the con. And I'm not running anything at North Texas, but I am at CNY, so I got to get my stuff together for Central New York Con.
I'm running too much at North Texas this year, I think.
Well, as well you should, Glenn.
Ugh. I told Becky, he says, I'm gonna be exhausted by the time I get home. You know, I've got the Gangbusters game I run twice. I may have to run it 3 times.
Really?
Yeah, because both my games are maxed out at 8 people. And I know people are going to walk up. I know at least 2 people who are going to walk up that I happen to be roommating with up there.
Oh,
So,
wow. Okay.
So, yeah, that's it. You know, last year, Gage wanted to play my Gangbusters game. I told him to go play Matt's game, his Myth Arthur game.
Oh.
I said, Grandpa, I'd like to play your game. He said, yeah, but you've already played it. I'm just rerunning an old one. You played in this before. Go bother Matt. Go play with Matt because we hardly ever get to see Matt anymore. Go play in his game.
Well, that's
so
cool.
He did. That was nice of him. Anyway, I'm still doing prep, but I got a lot of help.
Okay.
From Mr. Mark Hunt.
Uh-huh.
And well, what happened was I sent him a 1-page synopsis of what I was going to do. And the first thing I said, you're sure you're not coming to the con? Okay, I can send you this, so I'll let you look at this. And I gave him a 1-page summary, and he gave me back 6 pages of stuff. He basically turned it into kind of a sandbox, which is okay with me. I have no problem with that. Okay, and so it's like I said this is great. I mean, I could just like tweak this a couple of times and just take it to the table, almost the way it is. So I gave that and another scenario, an older scenario I had that he fleshed out, and I gave him I said, "Here, Don, look at these. Can you use these?" And that instant scenario thing he was coming up with,
right?
It's like, here, why don't you use these? See if he uses them. So we'll see if he publishes those.
There you go.
But anyway, I've got. Let me show you something. How I'm prepping is very interesting.
Very interesting, Mr. Bond.
Yes. Okay. I've got notes and a kind of an outline, but as people know, no game, no adventure survives the table.
Right.
But here's the catch-22. You have to prep something.
Well, you need the framework, but you'll be lucky.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of hard to do. I told Becky, what's it like? It's like writing a novel where you can't put the main characters in. And let me show you this. You ever seen anything like this?
Let me see. It's a wheel.
This is what is known in the radio industry as a hot clock. Okay. And what you do, and this is supposed to represent 1 hour of airtime. Okay. And you'd sit down and go, okay, I'll put a wedge here for top of the hour. We say something, music here, 20 minutes in, we're going to do headlines and commercials. And, you put everything, that's 1 hour of airtime right there. You do these for if you got a 4-hour show, you do 4 of them. Well, I've been always wanting to adapt this to gaming.
Interesting.
And I think I found a way to do it. Instead of 1 hour, I divide it into however many hours you need. I'm doing a 5-hour game, and I know the first hour is going to be character creation.
Right.
So I've got 4 hours here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Each quarter is an hour of game. Okay. And then I start putting in the beats. See?
Okay.
Like that. And, just start filling it up. And that and an outline of where I'm going is hopefully all I need. Well, I'll need like NPC stats in case, but not very many. Now, if you look closely at this, you'll notice I put things that are happening on here. Okay.
Okay.
The beginning, and basically I kind of follow what Mike Pondsmith did in Dream Park, where it's like you have the hook, you have the revelation encounter, and revelation encounter to the climax, and then the denouement. Okay. And you do that as much as possible, as many times as possible.
Right.
But I figured out that to me, GMing is all about information. Relaying information to the players relaying information to me.
Right.
Okay. So I have my plot points. I have what's going on in the back. Basically, you get this is what I told her about the novel without the main characters. Basically, you got to plan what the bad guys are going to do to them. That's the important part. Not what they do. Well, and whatever they do to them, what the bad guys are going to do back. And I thought, okay, well, I like to put the description and whatever is going to happen and keep it as fluid as possible. That's why I said I'm starting to put like location 1, location 2, location 3, and just put the locations. And just put location. Don't tell me what the location is, because I'm going to have a list of locations. That way I can hear what they're saying. Okay, fine. Now I've got a list of locations. I got the clues that are at the location, or what they'll find out, or who they're going to talk to at the location. So, okay, we want to go to the mayor's office. Okay, mayor's office. Okay, go. You go to the mayor's office, and I start, doing the game. And so that's kind of how I'm working it this time. I find it weird. Prep is weird to me. Prep is weird because I never do it the same way twice.
Right.
I've been doing this for 40 years, and you'd think I'd have a system down.
No, we don't have a system down.
It's hard to do. That's like when I wanted to be a cartoonist and a comic person. I said, how do they write the stories? I mean, how do they do this? And it's like Stanley has one way, another editor has another way, and it's like there is no standard way of writing a comic book. And it's the same thing with the game. Prepping a session, all you can do is prep the session. Because they say, a lot of people say you should not prep more than the current session because things will change.
Right.
And so that means there's a lot of stuff out of my hands. Remember I said I usually prep until I stop. I tell myself that's enough, because you just got to get the idea in your head that you've done enough. It's almost like I'm trying to convince myself, okay, you put X amount of hours in this. You've done your due diligence. Go in there and see what happens. I mean, what did Gary say? 1 hour prep for every hour at the table?
Probably.
I try to cut that. I try to trim that as fine as I can. If I could prep a 4-hour session in 1 hour, I'd do it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure you have your own way too.
Well, see, my issue is that I am more of an improv style DM. So I go with, whatever the scenario is pretty well described. But where the players are going to go and all that stuff is very lightly detailed and open to change depending on how badly the players screw things up. Which I find works beautifully, with the exception of one thing.
What's that?
I don't recall necessarily what it is, since I didn't have things necessarily all planned out, and then we went off the path. I'm screwed if people go back 2 weeks later and go, So when we saw, oh shit, yeah, okay. Let me look at my notes. Oh, I have none.
Well,
So
don't.
my secret, by the way,
I've
which
been there. Yeah.
so from I had one group of mine, everybody was a blogger. Beautiful. So what I would do is I will give a 10% expo bonus as long as you put up a blog post in the next week after the session that's at least 4 or 5 paragraphs long explaining the last session from your character's perspective.
Right.
Everybody loved that. And I got to see 3, 4, 5 different memories
Mm-hmm.
of the session. And as a DM, it allowed me to also go, hey, all my players are focusing on
This.
X. Well, maybe I should focus because that's already giving you a hook because the
This
players are
is
giving it to you. And
this is
that's
the beauty part of it. And don't get the idea that I plan everything out to the nth degree, because I'm very much an improv GM
right.
like you.
Yeah.
Very much. And basically that comes with, I can't remember either, and I don't take very good notes. But the point is, I tend to run one shots for some reason, 1 or 2 shots.
Right.
I never get, I mean, I think my longest campaign lasted 5 sessions.
Okay.
That was it. So every time I come up, every time I approach this, it's like I'm always approaching it as a new campaign, a first session. Everything's a first session. So that's part of the reason why I like to improv, because
Right.
they're going to throw stuff at me I've never thought of before. But that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. That doesn't mean whatever they come up with is terrible.
No.
I will
No,
not
definitely.
railroad them. I will not block them. That's another thing I'm sensitive about, is railroading. I mean, what I described here, I think would go great for sandbox type campaigns.
Definitely. I can see that. By the way, I want to catch up on comments. Matt
Okay,
Sherman
go ahead.
Matt Sherman is in one of your Gangbusters games at North Texas. So
Is he? Is he? No.
make sure you introduce yourself to Glen. Hey.
Because Glen will not remember your name. Hey.
Yes. So to say, hey, this is Matt Sherman from, and
yeah.
let
I'll
us
just
know.
say, how you doing?
How you doing? Roll up your character now. Hey.
Yeah.
Retro familiar question. I was wondering where I would put the city state and invincible overlord in my Skara. Denegoth was my first thought, but if anyone has a better placement, I'm all ears. You know what?
I wish Brian was here. He'd know.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on Mystara, so I'm not I'm no longer an expert on any of the original settings because where they've progressed, my progression on like Greyhawk stopped with the box set, and for me, Forgotten Realms was the original box set and maybe the first few supplements. So it's just too detailed now for me. Cooperative Waffles, welcome. And going back to Matt, when I DM, no matter how much prep is done, the players do something completely different than expected.
Yes, isn't that great? There's a lot of GMs will say,
DM by the
no,
seat of
it's
your pants.
not.
Yeah, DM by the seat of your pants. That's why I enjoy improv DMing because, well, first off, if I overplan and the players ignore the planning that I did, which will inevitably happen, you get a little pissed off, right? You're like, God damn these players.
I don't.
Well, I can because like I prep this, then I recover because I like to improv anyway. But it's like, why did I waste time on all this detail when it's never going to get used? By the way, Agile Monk, hello. Cooperative Waffles wants to know if the Radio Hour Compass is available online.
What's that?
What you were just showing.
The hot clock. Yeah, I think I downloaded. I just Googled radio hot clock, and I got this as a PDF file. I just print them out. That's standard radio stuff right there. Program directors do that. I had to learn to do it when I went to radio school. What was I going to say? As far as like, see, I'm all for improv. If I can improv a whole game, I will do it. But I like to improv with prep. I want to be. This sounds funny because Vince has laughed at me for this. I like to be prepared to improv. You can prepare to improv.
Yes, you can.
You got the NPCs, you got the locations, you got what's going on in the story. Go now. What I mean, we're going to kick that donkey in the butt and see what happens. Okay, let's see what happens. What?
Maybe not the wisest choice, but yes.
Make a save for not getting kicked in the face.
Oh, I was gonna. Would I have my face right there? You might, Rabbit. You might. I mean,
yeah.
somebody
told me to move your ass.
Not that ass. Your ass. Agile Monk. Hello, Chad. I like to have well-defined locations and to define the plot by broad strokes. That's a very nice way to do it.
That's pretty good.
Each location will have bits that can be worked in, and the players take an interest in
them. And remember, every game is a mystery. People say you got to do mysteries differently. No, every game is a mystery because you're trying to find out what's going on.
If you don't, if it's planned out, we've always called them railroads, but they're predestined, right? When you know where you're going to be at the end, it's predestination, and if your adventure is predestined, what's the point for your players to play it?
You know the beginning of this. You know the hook, the start of the story, and the end of the story. Don't worry about the middle.
Right, and be willing to have the end not be the end that you expected.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is all often the way the players. I find that the best adventures are the ones where the players find a weird hook that you didn't think was even going to be relevant, or a hook you didn't even throw it in as a distraction, and they find the hook and they go off on it. Case in point, when I was at Page, I threw in a detail spur of the moment when they went in because they were dealing with cultists and undead, and one of the characters was like, "Well, do I smell anything?" I'm like, "Do you smell anything?" And they happened to be playing a halfling, so I was like, "Well, all right, you know what? You smell the smell of what is likely cooking meat because my mind's already working." Well, it derailed everything because first off, the player was like, "Hey, shouldn't halflings have an ability to detect smells like dwarves can detect slopes?" And I went, "Oh, geez, that makes way too much sense from a DM's point of view of my God, that can be a lot of fun." But then it already started adding in details of things that weren't fleshed out about, all right, so I have undead staff that was taking care of this place? Yeah. But now I've got an undead cook that's doing a rotisserie, and this stuff is because your players found something that was interesting.
Yep.
There's no reason not to embrace it. Your players often know better than you. And I know that there's one level of talk of, well, the adventure has to be pure and as written. And there's another idea that every adventure should be, to some extent, melded to the party to make it more immersive for them. And we had a blast with that. But that's because my party started going, well, let's go find the food. What's cooking? Maybe there's people there. Maybe we're going to find the big bad evil guy there. There's this food cooking. There's got it. And it's like, all right, let's play it up. Moved it in a different direction. And that's when I went and I had to pick up Rach and take a 10-minute round trip drive to pick her up from the venue. back to the hotel room where they had me in a conference room, which is great. But I took those 10 minutes to rejigger
Uh,
what was coming up. Never a bad idea to say take a bathroom
always,
break.
always use your time well at the table.
Yes.
Um, I can hear you. And also, I'm also a proponent of planning. I'm planning a 4-hour session. Actually, I'm planning
Right.
a 4.5-hour section because you should always plan for like extra scenes and extra things that you can jettison. So you can, oh, I only have 2 hours to play this. All right, we won't do that one, that one, that one, which I put in there anyway to fill it out.
Okay.
It's just like, hey, it's just like an editor editing a movie. Same thing. More you give them, the more they can be flexible. The more I give myself, the more I can be flexible.
Yeah.
And that's the
Well,
whole point.
cooperative waffles get the players to tell as much of the story as possible.
Oh,
Yes.
always.
That does not mean make it a storytelling game. Doesn't mean that you can let the players go, I don't want the wall over there. Can I want to make how about there's a secret door on the wall so I can we're not saying you're not saying that. But if the players are invested in what's going on around them, then they and their characters will add so much to your game session.
Yep.
And it's remember, a successful game session isn't well, my players overcame their they overcame the big bad evil guy. No, is did everybody walk away from the table having a great time? Maybe not
Yeah.
the guy whose PC died. Maybe they're a little pissed, but
And
generally, maybe they aren't. But generally speaking, is everybody leaving that table with a good experience? And there's nothing wrong with tweaking things to allow that to happen.
you know what? If you've been doing this for as long as we have been doing this,
Yep,
this becomes second nature.
yep.
You
It,
know,
it,
they
it,
throw something at you left field, give me a couple minutes and I'll hook it up to what we're doing.
yeah, for us sometimes it's hard to explain what we do because we do it instinctually.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a new DM, that'll take a while for you to get there, but it'll get there. And I'm going to tell you my humble opinion: the best tool for a DM, if you need to have rules knowledge or adventure knowledge, I think rules knowledge trumps adventure knowledge. And the reason why I say that is because if you have the proper rules knowledge, you can improvise, you can move on your feet, you can think in that game's language, and then if something in the adventure that when you were prepping you didn't catch, it suddenly conflicts. If you have rules knowledge, you can get past that. If you don't have rules knowledge, then you get stuck in how are the rules going to handle this. So that's why I write
Right.
rules that I'm very comfortable.
Never worry about how an adventure handles it. Worry how the rules handle it.
Yes. Chad, no intricately defined plot divides contact with the player characters.
Yes. Like I
Exactly.
said, no adventure survives the table.
An agile monk agrees with you. And cooperative waffles, if the players don't like the NPCs wearing blue sashes, the blue sash becomes the BBEG calling card. Yeah,
Nice. See, they practically sometimes they practically write the game for you.
which is fine. I really have no problem with that. It's like playing with Tim Kask.
Uh-huh.
He does was it the Wheel of Blame, and you basically give him an index card with like two things on it, and it's like a glass bowl, a spool of copper wire, or whatever you want to. You think you're going to throw him a curveball, and then he's going to do an encounter per PC. So if you have three PCs,
Frank Menzer does that for entire sessions.
yeah, well, that's what Tim did, and it's a great way to if you are if you have that imagination, that ability to improv,
Uh-huh.
it makes it fun not just for the players. It makes it fun for the GM.
It
You
does.
know, I find improv challenges me, and I like to be challenged.
Same here. Same here. And also it keeps me, I am prone to be, I mean, lazy, being a lazy GM is mostly good, but I'm prone to being just lazy. And this kind of thing keeps me on my toes.
Well, there you go.
Keeps my brain thinking.
God keeps me young.
Yeah, something like that. And I'm trying to get this game finished so I can start gathering stuff for the con. What do I need? Do I have the dice? Do I have the tokens? Do I have the this, the that? Because for some reason, Gangbusters is becoming a lot of moving parts. D&D can get that way too, but you know, you got to when you go to a convention, you got to remember, do you have everything you need?
Yeah.
And let me pass along for those of you who've never been to a con. Bring the games you like. They always say you should always have the rules that the games you're going to play. Okay, fine. If you like 5 games, don't bring the rules for 5 games. Bring the rules for 2 games. Otherwise, that's a lot of packing,
Well,
especially if you're flying.
if you're flying, I bring the rules for no games, honestly. Unless I'm running something. If you're
Yeah,
running something, you
like
need the rules. But if
I'm
I'm a
bringing
player,
yeah,
I don't need the rules.
I'm bringing Gangbusters, Ghostbusters, and Toon.
Fair
If
enough.
I need to play D&D, I'll bring a copy of Osric. 1 book
Again,
trumps 3.
if I'm going to run the game, I'll need, which is probably why, even if I knew Hyperborea like the back of my hands, I would never run it at North Texas. Well, actually, I'm sure I could run it because I'm sure that others would bring copies, but I wouldn't have a copy. It's just
Mm-hmm.
too damn big a book for me to bring with me for what's needed.
Well, for 2nd edition, yeah.
But
In fact, this year I probably ain't going to take my copies.
but if you're driving, it's different.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
drive. It's 3-hour drive, and I got and even if I'm driving, I just don't like to haul. I like to travel light.
oh yeah,
I'm always trying to break stuff down to how much stuff do I need to take to a game, whether it's somebody's house or a public space or a con or whatever. What's the minimum I need to run this game?
well, if you're running at a con, remember the secret is your trunk is also your storage space. So
Yes,
you can leave stuff in your not electronics, but I don't think if anybody breaks into your car, they're going to be stealing a Hyperborea books.
no.
Just saying.
I mean,
Um,
if you got game books here and an iPad, they're going to take the iPad.
yeah.
You
So,
know, something like that. Speaking of
but
which, that's also my soundboard. So
there you go.
that's also I've been loading sounds on there now. I had to buy that damn app.
I'm sorry.
The one, well, when I have my Android tablet, it was a free app, do it yourself
Okay.
soundboard. On with Apple soundboard, I'm paying a subscription of like $6.99 a week now.
A week or a month?
A week. They have
Mm,
weekly, monthly, and lifetime. As soon as I can get like $160 together, I'm getting the lifetime because then I don't have to deal. I hate subscriptions. I'm only doing this because I just need it for the next couple of weeks.
okay.
But I really do hate subscriptions for stuff like that. And you can use it for free, but you can only have a maximum of 3 soundboards and a maximum of 24 sounds altogether.
Oh,
So
Glen needs more than that.
yeah, I like options. I like options in my games, and I like options in my life.
I don't blame
So
you.
I will do that. Um, 2 shows ago, I did one on once again using music in your games,
Right.
and I recommended doing the soundboard thing. But if you see, some people do it online. They go to Radio Rivendell and they just have the music playing all the time. I said, I don't like doing that because I never know if I'm going to be playing in a space that has internet access.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but if you know there's going to be access, I recommend that Tabletop Audio. I think it's called Tabletop Audio. Excellent site, and it's free.
Really?
It's got something called SoundPad on there where you can make your own. It's got all these ambient sounds, and SoundPad comes with packages and these are free, of like,
right.
Here's a dungeon, here's a tavern, here's a forest, and it'll give you the ambient sound, but it also gives you sound effects you can play when you're using it, and you can make your own too. So to me, that's a good website to have. Tabletop Audio. Yeah. Check it out, folks.
Very nice. Very nice.
My recommendation. We seem to be going off.
Recommendation by Glen.
Yes, we seem to be. I can tell we're ready for a con because we keep talking about it.
About conventions, And here's the thing. I've already gone to 3 conventions this year. And then in the next 2 weeks, I've got 2 conventions. And then I got ShireCon in September. And, VengerCon is in end of July. You got EggCon in July. I was trying to put together a schedule for a calendar for all these conventions. I gave up on that. It was just too many moving parts. But I know like Wenger has Sandy Peterson as a special guest. Stunning. ACON is in Lake Geneva in the summertime. A beautiful place to be. I think VengerCon is in Madison. But I refuse to fly to more than one con a year. And I have found that WizardCon is the end of my drive in 1 day range. It was
then there's me, who can drive to do one con a year, and I can drive to it. Next year I get 2 cons, and it's like, wow, red letter year. I get to go to 2 cons. Oh boy, one of which I have to fly, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, it's fine. But I have to remember too is when I go to a con, it's Rach and I. I'm not. It's not me running solo. So I know 2 people can live as cheaply as one, unless you're going on a vacation, in which case, yeah. Well, maybe again, if you drive, it's cheaper. You're not paying for 2 airfares. The hotel room doesn't change, so
right.
I guess 6 of one, a half dozen of the other.
Absolutely.
Death Angels, welcome. So, I'm trying to think what else. The Judges Guild stuff, by the way, folks, is kind of smoothed out.
Is that kind of like, do we have to beat that dead horse again?
No. It seems like Bob Jr., somebody spoke to Bob, and I don't say that could have any personal knowledge. I'm just saying that his rant or screed, which he put up last Thursday, was gone by Friday. The one where he talks about the wash bears, the wash bears of the wilderness.
I swear, I saw that clip. You put it on a shorts for YouTube, and I looked at it again. I'm going, I need to put wash bears into my fantasy campaign.
Dude, I want to put out just like a short free PDF. Wash bears of the wildlands.
Yeah, Wilderlands.
Just the wildlands. I don't want to step on anybody. Yes, soundboard, Radio Rivendell, tabletop audio.
Tabletop audio, yeah. Well, yeah, you should put that out. Wash bears of the. Give it to Rob.
Rob, I need wash bears
for the majestic Wilderlands.
Yeah. What is this Wash Bear thing? We don't know. Okay. This is something that Bob Jr. said that was coming soon from Judges Guild.
Wash
And
bears of the wilderlands.
yes, now it could have been
And
maybe it meant werebears, but
probably warriors.
warriors. Some
Warriors, and he had autocorrect going.
yeah, something, and he didn't catch it. And supposedly Goodman Games is going to be doing 5 years of a zine for
Mhm.
Judges Guild it's the talking of somebody's wildest dreams, but I don't know if it had much in common with the real world. But
Now,
yeah,
Death Angels, we tend to talk about something that's things that are weird.
yeah, we like
Kind of
weird.
I mean, I'm getting ready to wash bears versus the penisauruses.
Ooh, that would be
Remember them?
yes. Was he slurring his speech? No, this
Hook,
is a
uh,
written screed.
yes, the warrior hookers and the penisaurus.
What is your Judges Guild video about? Depends
Glen.
on which one, but it's the we'll do the quick timeline. I'm gonna try to do it in less than 60 seconds. Goodman Gaines announced the CSIO Backer Kit project. They announce it. People go, "Hey, what about the original backers of the dead Kickstarter?" And then other people go, "Are you giving money to an ist who is full of isms and a Yahtzee?" And then Goodman goes, "Oh shit, we should have addressed that." And then Goodman addresses that. But then Bob goes, "Hey, wait, look at me. We've got all these great plans. We're putting out our own CSIO, and it's twice as big as the original."
Yeah,
And no, none of the backers are going to get it. No, it's a bizarre shit. I can't summarize it in 60 seconds, but there you go.
close as we can get.
Yesterday's, if it was a short, let me just check. I know, like, you don't know what the last CSIO uh, was the 22nd. Yesterday was how do you judge the success of a YouTube channel? Has nothing to do with Judges Guild, although the word judge is in there, but it has nothing to do with Judges Guild. It's because somebody was talking about how a certain channel is going to hit 10,000 subs, which, by the way, they did. Nothing suspicious about the numbers. But I judge the success of my channel by the interaction of the people on my comment section and our live streams and people that support the channel with their membership and
Right.
um hey, number of views. We last month or this month, last I should say the last 28 days, this channel has surpassed 100,000 views, in large part to producing the shorts.
Mhm.
And that's because of the community that's around the tavern. So that to me is success. Would I love to have 10,000 subscribers? Certainly. Am I going to pay for it? No, no, thank you. But there you go. The Oak, thanks. I've been keeping up. Last update, Goodman Games wasn't paying royalties to Judges Guild, but to an escrow instead. Yes,
Yeah, that's the way it should be.
but now remember, and I believe that Joe has said this. There's like a kill switch on backer kit. So the moment if this backer kit becomes amazingly successful, and they're going to raise more money than is necessary to repay the original backers, he will kill the backer kit and freeze it where it's at. So there is a way, because if it goes beyond the escrow amount that can be needed to repay backers, then that percentage would have to go to Judges Guild.
Yeah.
So, you know,
What are you going to do?
Judges Guild, by the way, if you read Bob's. Oh, all right. I'm going to tell you to go to a site that some people are going to get all bent out of shape out of. Go to Nworld. And the reason why is because Bob removed his screed, but Nworld still has a copy. If you don't want to watch the video on it from last week, but in it, Bob talks about Goodman Games agreeing in 2022 to pay money to Judges Guild again. Not saying that that's truthful or not. I'm not here to judge, and I have no inside baseball or inside track on this. But that is something that Bob said and probably needs to get addressed.
It should.
Just saying.
It should. It should. And
Los
that
Angeles
is our
Scandal
story of
tells.
Judges.
Yes. Listen, the OGL drama of what 2 years ago
Mm-hmm.
put this channel on the map. Certainly. I'm not. And I'm not asking for another OGL drama. I don't want to go through that again. But
Neither do I. Well, hang on to the old books. That's all I got to say.
yeah, no, that's certainly. Well, we've got about 10 minutes left. So what I'm going to do is throw this open to you all. So if you have anything you want to ask Glen or I, throw it out there. In the meantime,
Heard about P2 bristle boar? No clue.
Is that like the Trumpy bear?
Trumpy bear?
You didn't hear about the Trumpy bear?
No.
Yeah. They're selling stuffed animals of Trumpy bear.
That's
Support
cute.
your president. They're the bestest. It's the Trumpy bear. So the bristle boar is the mightiest of all beings in the Paizo mythos. Well, you see, there goes the issue right there. I mean, I've lost any affection for Paizo years ago. And I their whole fiascos of I think even before the OGL drama they were going off into their own weeds. I don't really follow their stuff.
They were there. Sometimes I think that Paizo is the main staff and the management are on constant alert, constant anxiety of nobody's going to buy our stuff, so let's turn out as much as we can.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard some issues with because they were also a distributor for other third parties.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard issues with that, so and that's some inside baseball that I'm not at liberty to discuss. But
it could be Kenzer.
Yeah, well, Kenzer's issues have historically been bed editing. Okay, and when you edit your own work, you just throw this out there. When you edit your own work, guess what? Your brain compensates for your mistakes, and you don't see them. It fills it in. It's amazing. The brain is an amazing tool,
isn't it?
Basically, it's like AI. There's a joke there somewhere, folks.
Archives of Nethies Online put the page number as the level.
So okay. Well, that's fucking funny. Yeah. Level 89.
Then there's Thaco the Bard. Yes. Okay.
Elk of Antioch. I see a giant hole in the Goodman Games plan. I suspect only 10% of backers will actually request refunds. So if Goodman Games sells through enough to repay all backers, that will leave a $70,000 gap.
Wow.
Not saying that you're not partially right. I suspect the amount of backers that will request refunds are going to be a lot higher than you think. And the reason why I say that is because the Kickstarter, which hadn't updated in 5 years, suddenly updated with request your refunds. So, that being said, I expect refunds to. I've already requested my refund, not through Judges Guild. I went right through Goodman, but I suspect we're going to get about a 50 to 60% response. The reason why Judges Guild was my opinion. I'm making an assumption, folks, but I suspect the reason why for 5 years they didn't update the Kickstarter is what they did. They'd have to say, "Oh, we're giving refunds. We've been giving refunds. If you could find us on social media and you overheard it from somebody else, we were
Yeah,
giving refunds." So, I
they're
suspect.
not exactly announcing it.
Mhm. But if you were a backer of the original Kickstarter, you got an update, and then people will say, that's what is expected. With that update, people are going to go, "Oh yeah, I'll take my money back." And for me, it was only $60, but I'm happy to get back $60.
It's 60 more than you had
Yeah, I
at
can
the
put it
time.
toward real gaming, and Goodman is going to be giving a discount to original backers on the new backer kit. So
That's nice.
six of one, a half dozen of the other, I guess. Not perfect.
I have yet to back anything on Backer Kit. I've got about 15, 20 things I did on Kickstarter, but I haven't done anything on Backer Kit.
Okay. Backer kit is kind of like leaving, cutting out the middleman.
Right. But I don't, is it, do you think it's better or worse than Kickstarter? Or?
I hear from creators, most of them are saying it's better than Kickstarter.
Is it?
It's more response. Kickstarter's gotten to the point where if you're a creator and you're not a big creator,
Mhm.
I'm not saying they're saying go fuck yourself, but they're not necessarily the most responsive to your inquiries. I'm just telling you from what I've heard from creators. I had never created a backer kit or any crowdfunding project, but I've heard, I won't say nightmares, but I've heard that. Now I have personally, I know I had an issue with Kickstarter. Oh my God! Back in the days of Myth and Magic, remember that?
Oh,
Remember that failure? And the individual who was running the Kickstarter was nice enough to put my shipping info as a public comment because of my covering the issue. And I reached out to Kickstarter over the weekend, a holiday weekend, if I recall correctly. And within hours, that comment was removed. So I got to say, they were responsive to me. Oh, I did not know this. Cooperative Waffles. I backed Trollord's Gygax Castle Dungeon. Barracuda Kit allows payment over 4 months. I wouldn't have been able to do it on Kickstarter being on a fixed income.
so you can basically lay it away.
And it also does an extended overtime. You're right. If it's almost like an eBay auction, like where you can last minute bids extended, or maybe it wasn't eBay, but it was one of those bidding sites. It will reset the clock by 10 minutes every time there's another sale until it runs out.
Yeah,
So that's interesting.
it is.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, that's a better deal than Kickstarter will ever give you.
Yeah, certainly, certainly. So, folks, again, I don't. I may. We may surprise you. Uh, there may be an afternoon next week, but if it is, it's going to be a Monday or a Tuesday.
Yeah, this is the last time you guys are going to see me until the con, unless this guy up here,
Yeah,
I don't know, yanks me into something on the weekend or
yeah,
something.
yeah. Sunday at 7 p.m. on Rumble. Inappropriate characters re-rolled. So that's the last weekend of the month, being that the weekend ends on this month ends on Saturday. So although Sunday is technically June, it's the last weekend of May.
So the you're on Rumble for
I'm
that.
on Rumble with Grim Jim and Ryan David. It's once a month.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Rumble. I'll have to look into Rumble.
Um,
There's so many social media sites out there. It's unbelievable. I can't
yeah,
keep.
you know what? I like Rumble, it doesn't get a lot of traction for my personal channel.
Mhm.
I probably don't push it enough. I know we probably top 100 live stream viewers when we do our monthly show.
Now, can you on Restream here? If I had a Rumble account, could I link this
Yes,
show
yes,
like
you
I
can.
do with the other ones?
Yep,
Okay,
yes, you can.
cool.
You can
Very
link Rumble, so it works out pretty well.
well. Anyway, he's Tenkar. I'm Old Man Grognard.
Ragnad.
Thaco's Hammer and Radio Grognard. King says, oh, by the way, tomorrow is going to be my 300th episode of Radio Grognard King Size.
Go with God, Glen. Yes, it needs some UE improvements. Tonight on this very channel, Heidi and Eric Garland Gygax, or Gygax Garland. I don't know how they do their last name, but you know who they are. They're our special guest at 8 p.m. Hope to see you all. Other than that, be safe, be well. God bless. Roll those dice. Roll them well. And I'll catch you all later.
Bye, folks.